every single day.
All right, guys, what's up? It's Frequency Control Show. You got me, the RO double B, and right over here you got
Willie Stride.
up in this bitch 2/3 of TDS. Um, we got a new show for you. We've named it aptly Dominoes. Kind of about staging and setting up yourself for success by setting your little dominoes up, ready to trigger that one action that ends up knocking over all those things that you've been setting up to win with. And instead of having one win, you got, 5, 6 wins, maybe 100. Who knows how many dominoes you set up? It's up to you. The longer you go and you keep setting up shit that doesn't seem to work for you, a lot of those work for you. For instance, think about, Jesus, why can't I think of his name? Wanda on in Living Color, Jamie Foxx. This guy already knew how to act. He knows he's funny. He already knows how to sing. He harnessed his ability to play piano, sings really good, can do impressions. But none of those lanes worked out for him musically, right? But he had set that domino of I know how to make I can sing, I can play piano like nobody's business, I can act, and I just so happen to be funny. And so he gets on a Living Color. That domino falls and then triggers his acting, triggers his music, where he's a famous musician, playing piano, singing, blame it on the alcohol. Remember that? Like this guy has like these like number one hits. He's singing on "She Give Me Money When I'm in Need." She's a gold digger. She's trifling hoeing, whatever the fuck. But on Kanye West song becomes famous in music. And they're like, oh my god, he was just a comedian. It's like, no, 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 no. He had set these other dominoes up earlier. And then when he fucking finally clicked that domino from comedy, he was able to get popping off the music, where he might not have been able to pop as a musician because his star wasn't big enough if he started and approached it through just music first or just through acting first, because you're like, who's this guy? But when he popped in was what he's great at, which is comedian, you bought into him as an actor. You bought into him as a musician. Uh, he throws parties and stuff as well as a major Hollywood party thrower. Like he's a promoter massively. Writing books, blah blah blah. But all those things clicked because you bought into him off the comedian side of it. So it's like, but those dominoes were set up, whereas he could have thought, man, I didn't make it in music. Jesus, I tried my hand at that. Man, I didn't make it in acting. I didn't make it playing a piano player. I didn't make it doing XYZ. And then next thing you know, he makes it in comedy. You think those are L's, but really, you click in one, and now all those others pop too. So it's like for me, like just to give you an example, like I've got a merch company, like for instance, like the shirt I'm wearing now, that's my shit. Like all that stuff is my shit. You probably can't see all this crap, but anyway, bottom line is everything I wear is my own shit. So other than this hat, um, but it's like I got a merch company that nobody wants to buy the stuff for. Why? Because why would they buy that? So I got music, I produce, I rap, whatever, like all these different avenues of things that I'm setting up. And one of those pops and the other are way more apt to go. Like think about it. Like say, well, you're a rapper, oh big deal. No one cares about hearing you. But then I lock in on a song that goes crazy. You got a Latin artist that has some really cool songs that I'm working on. Say his stuff pops. Next thing you know, who's the producer? Oh, it's this S&D guy. Bump. Next thing you know, oh, who's this guy? Oh, this guy's dope. They buy into that. Oh, he raps too. What? And then they jump into that freaking avenue. And then next thing you know, oh, he's got merch. And then they start buying all that. So all these different dominoes start to become viable dominoes. And oh, he does this. Oh, what? He's got a podcast, the Frequency Control Show. Oh shit! And then next thing you know, I'm winning in all these different streams. And it's like that's the thing about setting up these things that you don't know if they're gonna hit, but they may hit when you finally get that one thing that hits. And the ultimate thing is perseverance, keeping going, and don't stop. Uh, it's massive. You know what I mean? That you just keep setting them up and keep doing it, and you're getting all that work out of the way, as opposed to getting famous now and going, oh shit, I better scramble to try and put a merch thing together. I better scramble to try and put in some stuff. Or you already got all these things in place. You can pop in all those different areas, and a lot of people do that to where you see him, like Mark Wahlberg. He's a famous rapper. Well, guess what ends up happening? He ends up becoming a model off of that. Now he's an underwear model. And then next thing you know, he's got his own freaking burger joints that are a huge chain. And the next thing you know, he's got his own production company. And he's doing movies, and he's one of the biggest actors. And the next thing you know, he's in all these different ventures off that one domino clicking for him, which was rapping. Now he has his modeling thing. He has his freaking movie thing. He's got his movie production company where he's doing movies, and now he's investing, and there's just all, he's got a burger company. Like, he's got all these different things. There's a show called Entourage, which is about his crew. So if you watch Entourage, that's about Marky Mark's crew, because he came from the thuggish part of Boston where you see like Goodfellas and all that shit written about. He's from that area where he's hood. He's stolen cars parked in front of his house that he stole and just parked there, and he'd be having them for weeks on end. This guy's hood is hell, and so they have a whole show called Entourage about Mark Wahlberg, and nobody knows they're watching Entourage. They don't realize that's about Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. They have no freaking clue. Guy's so down, his homie comes out of prison after 20 years, make sure he has a home at his home. That's how down Marky is. Mr. Wahlberg is. But the bottom line is one domino plus all the other dominoes he sets up. And now he's got food franchises and all this other shit. This guy's massively rich. Doing all these other things based off of one domino knocking over the rest of the dominoes. You only got to be right one time. But what's funny is being right one time could make all those other things you thought were wrong right. So it's massive when you think about it. And I'm pretty sure... I'm trying to remember, like, is this aligned with what you were originally wanted to talk about, like, earlier, when you were talking about things coming fast, or what exactly, what was your angle, Will?
Just domino analogies like changed my life in days. I think just I wanted to touch, yes, all of that, and wanted to touch just how important it is for you to be open and aware of the path. Not even knowing, not even realizing sometimes that you're on the path, because being on the path doesn't always look like success. This path that I'm on has had what a lot of people would call failures. But these things that I so-called have failed at this whole time, what it could look like is more relevant today than it was when it was a so-called failure. And just really exciting, like, when you're taking action and you're doing the things, when you're doing the right things, and you start seeing things happen, and you could and you're in the moment and can take a look back and be like, this thing that I started years ago is now more beneficial to my life than it has been the whole 30 years. For example, like, we've been doing music for over 25 years now, and this music doesn't look like it's led to a whole lot of successes. Matter of fact, it looks like, for myself, it's kind of it's left more failures than anything else. But what people don't realize that it's also led me to being an author. And it's also like, you know, all this music stuff, now that I'm at this point on what I'm currently doing, it's helping me, you know, be able to make these audios I've created, and all the video editing we've been doing. And, you know, now these video editings are benefiting me today, making some videos that are just being, I wouldn't even have been in front of a camera a year ago if we haven't been doing these podcasts. And now we've been doing these podcasts and I'm so comfortable. We've been doing this every week for, if this isn't the year celebration, it's close here, right? You know, we've been doing this for a year now. So I feel comfortable videoing myself talking about things that I need to finish right now that are relevant right now to what I'm trying to accomplish right now, that I've been working on and having the equipment for and having the knowledge for over 25 years. Not even really knowing the end result, you know, knowing what I ultimately want, but not really knowing what's really going to happen to achieve it. And now that we've really dialed in, now that I've really dialed in what I want and my next main game and what I'm trying to accomplish next, it's what I've been doing for 25 years that now is all benefiting me right now and what I'm currently doing. And if I would have quit and done something else, like I fluffed off the first 3 months of this year, starting something new, you know, and not following through with what I'm already doing. It's just, I can't express enough how important it is to just be aware of the path you're on. Be aware of the actions you're taking. And the actions you're taking, you might not see results right now, but just another domino you're lining up for later on down the road, for when you keep building on these things and you're able to knock that domino down. Now all these things, 25 years, are all hitting. Like, it's really exciting because now it's almost makes it easier to see the future, because I can see where these things could be going, because I understand the path I've been on for years. And it's just, man, it almost brings me to tears when I really look at this picture of like, wow. And then to think of, whoa, I also have a t-shirt business that just magically lines up with this daily takeoff checklist and this frequency control show and these audios that I just did. All about what? Positivity and elevating your vibration. I did t-shirts about this years ago. I started this years ago without even knowing how much it would benefit right now. Even though I haven't sold one shirt. But it's a domino that's waiting to drop while I'm lining up all the rest of these dominoes and finishing up all these other things and building my little play set for when I flip that one over. And now all those things, the t-shirts, the music, the video editing, you know, the writing I've done, the writing that's coming up, you know, free myself up to do more writing and really concentrate on a really high level writing project that needs the freedom of every day. Although that could be an excuse as well. So you got to watch out for that too. That could be an excuse. I don't need to work from home to finish that. So got to be careful with that. That's not acceptable. That's like an excuse. However, there's a lot on your plate, so you really kind of do need to pick and choose. You know what I mean? But that's just a matter of dialing it further, like Robert has with.
Yeah, picking and choosing. Picking and
With
choosing is massive. I just sorry to interrupt you. Picking and choosing is the thing. You can't. You have to literally pick or choose. I hang out with friends or do this. Hang out with my wife or do this. Hang out with my girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, kids, or do this. You have to
watch
make choices.
NBA finals, playoffs, or do this.
It's literally choosing. You're literally going one or the other. You can't have both. It's crazy. Like people are like, no, you can live like, not when you're trying to like do
No,
something massive. It's like being.
not,
It's
not
like
if you
saying
want.
when you're trying to lose weight, you go like, some days you can cheat and stuff. It's like, well, then you're probably never gonna get skinny.
It's already challenging enough to do more than just going to a normal job. It's already challenging enough for that. So you have to be more critical with your time and and choosing because you're doing more. So you have to be more lined up with your time. But yeah, this is everything. I really just want to talk about paying attention to the past because I just wanted to. I just wanted, and even though man, I've spoke, and I still don't really feel like I was trying to grasp you know how exciting it is to see things that I started that haven't gone anywhere, but are crucial and just lining up with everything else I'm already doing, that it's a definite, it just makes it that much more exciting that I didn't even sometimes you forget you have those dominoes. Because it's been years. Sometimes you don't even realize, well, how am I doing what I'm doing now? Because I've been doing it for 25 years. So don't ever, that's why nothing's a failure. Technically, I failed at music for 30 years now. But no, I've been working my craft of music for 30 years, and it's more relevant now than it's ever been, and going to make me succeed. Because I've been doing it for 30 years and it's benefiting everything I'm doing right now. I wouldn't have the tools, I wouldn't have the knowledge to make professional product today if I haven't been doing music for the past 30 years of my life. I wouldn't even be able to execute 30 years from then. I wouldn't be able to execute what I'm executing now if I haven't failed for 30 years at it. Ain't that some shit to think about? That's what I wanted to get on is man, this path is real, man, and I just wanted people to, maybe open up and think about their path and really like look at it, and you'll see, man, wait, I attracted that, and I did that, and oh my gosh, that lines up with because this is what I want, and this is leading me here. And then when you start seeing things unfold, like now, me and Robert can see the path of these things that we want, this Jackson compound, and all these things that we want. We could see how these things could be real by today that we've been doing for 30 years. But today we can really see how this could actually have us achieve our dreams. Nothing's a failure, man. Everything you do is usually for a reason. Either it's leading you towards you want, or it led you towards you don't want. So get back on track to what you do want and keep on that path. Man, that's what then maybe that one felt a little better. I think that one might have soaked in a little more that time, to be, this is why this information is so important. So it opens up your mindset to be able to see these type of things. And I think that's what's exciting and really what keeps, as La La Land as it might sound, like that's what helped thinking like that to me is what helps me keep going, because it's exciting to know I've been doing this for 30 years. There's no way I'm not going to succeed. Because look, it's benefited me now and I didn't even realize it. Oh, on top of that, I did that too, and that's a domino. Oh, and that's a domino too that I didn't even realize until I'm actually in the moment as I'm walking down the path, and then being able to more open to see the future and see the end game and how it could happen. And then every once in a while, see things that, things you make up things that could come. Oh yeah.
So it's I think of it like as a guitar player. Like I've gotten pretty heavy into guitar. I mean, I've been playing guitar for 3 years now. And it's like, for plenty of them I sucked, but like I keep honing that craft and now I'm pretty good. But I'm at a level where I could play like I could play in a heavy rock band, like no problem. You know what I mean? Like I've literally hammered down where I've put a regimen of hours out where I go, okay, I'm tired, but I'm going to practice for an hour. And it's like, it's a domino and you don't even realize it. Like I wasn't trying to make it a domino, but all of a sudden I get hit up by the band Korn, a famous rock band, right? And they hit me up and say, hey, we need, or no, hit me up. I'm with Snoop Dogg. Jonathan Davis is backstage, and he's like, well, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I make beats, blah blah blah. Kind of leave it real basic, and then next thing you know, it's like you get to some more bullshit conversation, and then it's like, yeah, I've been jamming on guitar for a long. It's like, dude, we're Monkey, the guitarist, is not going to be able to play the next show, like how good are you? Are you good enough to where like maybe you could, I like your energy, like could you play the next show? And it's like, shit, man, I've been practicing Korn songs. In fact, I got a K7 guitar which is from Korn. Literally, I have that guitar, and it's a 7-string guitar. Most guitars are 6 strings, if anybody's familiar. 7-string is like the heavy, like you're gonna fucking, it's so low you can't even hear it in songs. And good luck, bass player, because this fucking low ass guitar is all trampling all over your bass. But like, I already have shit, man. I've been practicing your guys' songs since the '90s. Like, what do you, like, what's up, and next thing you know, that domino that I had been building all these years, not realizing that was a domino, I happen to have that skill set. Shit, yeah, I could play the next show. And now I could take advantage of that opportunity, and I had no fucking clue that was a domino. Now I'm playing on stage with fucking Korn, right? So same thing with you. Will's been editing videos for other reasons. You've been, doing whatever the hell you're doing with audio and all this stuff, and then next thing you know, you're like, man, because I know how to do that, when an opportunity comes, or my homie Rob calls me and says, yo, man, I'm thinking we should try this, that, and that. And you're like, yeah, I can do that, no problem, because I know how to use I know how to use audio, I know how to do beats, I can make the music for it, I can put the video together, I can put the visuals together, I fucking know how to use software, I understand, and I'm disciplined enough to sit behind a computer and not be so antsy I can't do it for hours on end, which is what it takes. I can do that. Right? And that might not even have been something you planned out to be your thing and of what it looks like. But those dominoes that had been set up 20 years prior, when you started making beats on a MPC 1000 and an MV 8000, those things are, led themselves to where you're at now, understanding the motif keyboards. Huh?
Music generator.
Oh yeah, what's funny is how many rap bands actually talk about how like that was their first shit. Like I thought it was just us. There's so many that are like, dude, there's so many that famous people that are like, yeah, we started on the MTV's music generator, or like me, mom, me too, dude. We would like send each other in the mail the memory cards and shit. Remember, like
Yeah.
from the because I had the PlayStation, he has a PlayStation, we both had the same game, and we'd be sending them back and forth. Like, yo, get a $30 game and we can freaking hack the system. And he'd have some banging ass little beats, right? I can't. I would love now with my skill set to take some of those beats and turn it into like mix them right. Because the only thing wrong with those beats was that the bass was so fucking heavy, it would blow your speakers out. I remember putting.
I have a lot of them stored on my keyboard.
I'll hook it up. Like literally, I remember because the melodies and shit were fire. And now I know enough. Now
That's why I did a
now,
keyboard.
now I know enough music theory and shit. I know everything
Yeah.
music, but I mean like to where I could like make sense of them and make them work for
Yeah.
nowadays shit, right? And then add to them. Like before, I was good at beats, but I would not have known how to take an existing beat and then add more to it because I know music theory and what notes go with what and what key it's in and shit. And anyway, but the bottom line is, I remember putting that shit in the Land Cruiser, and the fucking Chris Carr's like Land Cruiser speakers about to blow the fuck out. But we're like, dude, the bass is hella hard at this shit. But a lot of people use that music generator shit. So we started out on a video game.
Yeah.
And it's like, now I sell music. I've been with Snoop Dogg. You got to think about it. I fuck with Snoop, Daz, Corrupt, MC8, Eminem, all these guys, right? And that shit was off MTV Music Generator. Really, that shit was off me and Will beatboxing and rapping. But like,
Yeah.
but the bottom line is like the early days. I mean, I learned how to make beats off that too, which is funny that program was very close to Fruity Loops, FL Studio, which is what I use now, majorly. Like with the block setup. That's how FL is with the blocks, and you move the blocks around, and that was your steps and your sequencer. But anyway, so that's a domino, right? Like and then now and because I'd made beats, I decided I think I can play guitar. And then actually I had guitar before I started making beats, but I really started to grab my guitar and jam on it better, And it's funny, what's funny is I didn't realize like years later all the shit I played before I learned traditionally how to play guitar. Now that I know how to traditionally play guitar, I actually play worse than what I did when I remember my buddy Frank coming over, and Frank's he could play like Metallica's like really like crazy symphonic style guitar, all crazy on the guitar, and he's watching me play, and I'm playing like like super heavy shit. But I didn't know how to play guitar, like in the sense that somebody taught me. Yet I was playing that rhythm hand was right, and I was playing ones and zeros, which are like open chord, open notes, and then closed note, and I was a G at it because it was off of ear. But I always thought that I sucked because I didn't know what was right. But technically, now I listen to Slipknot and I have all their videos, like super expensive, like $500 fucking courses from like Jim Root, who's like their main guitarist from Slipknot. And I'm watching, I'm like, dude, that's all the shit I was playing before, so I was actually doing the right shit. I just didn't know that I was doing the right shit. So, like, that's why I remember my buddy Frank, like, he's classically trained, and he's looking at me, he goes, dude, you're not playing, like, the way you would normally do it, but that's fucking amazing. But that's when that heavy rock was still in its birth. And he's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing on that guitar? And I was doing it all on accident. But anyway, those things are dominoes set up to where like now I could go play for Korn. You know what I mean? I could go play like these different things are like set up to where you can do it. Like you can actually do something bigger. And people don't even fucking realize that what they're doing now. And so like I think that's kind of aligns, even though these are two different conversations, but they are parallel in the sense when Will says know your path and understand your path and be aware of like what you're going for and see. So Will's really, I think, at least my interpretation of it is to be able to identify the signs that this is coming, that this is, well, you're about to reach this, like, and it's crazy. You just don't even know. Like I'm over here like working on a reggaeton album, right? Not shit I even like doing, although I love reggaeton now, which is crazy. I never thought I would in my life, and like I've always loved the pattern, but never thought I'd love the music, and now I love the music. But it's taken a couple years of working on it to and researching the music to finally go, oh, some of this shit's fire. But like, because they bite a lot of trap music, and I'm Will knows when I first started making beats, I was making trap beats. You know that shit was trapped out, crazy hi hats. I was making trap shit, fucking whatever year that was, 2003 for all I fucking know. You know, like I'm making trap. You know, like because I'm a fucking No Limit fan, Master P fiend all fucking day. Like since I was young, sure I love West Coast, I love New York all day too. But like I always was in love with that 808 and the hi hats, man. Those are my shit. You know, like anyway. So but reggaeton steals from that. But I have been doing that for so long. Like I love these different genres, and I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about now. Now I'm lost. I always go so far. I knew I'd catch myself. I'd get fucked up. But rarely does that happen. Somehow I usually find my way back. But something about something. But either way, like these are all like fucking pieces to where like know your path. Be aware of like what's your what you want. You can identify like the signs of what's coming. Again, same thing with like things you've done before. You don't know that those aren't going to be something that lends its hand to what you're doing, i.e. me and guitar. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. I have been doing R&B music with like rhythm and blues and gospel. So you know what's funny is I'm a heavy rock guy and a super ignorant rap guy. Yet my best skill sets are in R&B, gospel, and reggaeton. Like, you know, like it was just crazy, right? These are like things that came up, like they came my way, and I happen to know. But having those skill sets, like the reggaeton shit, I'm heavily invested in this reggaeton shit. I'm making this reggaeton album, and then all of a sudden, the prior domino I had set up a long time ago was the Snoop Dogg thing, right? And then all of a sudden, I get a call, something I'm not even nurturing. A domino I set up that I'm not nurturing from a long time ago. I can't believe I found my way back. A domino that I set up that I'm not nurturing, I don't care about. In a sense, I mean, I don't give a fuck about because I thought, hey, that train's gone and left the fucking station, moving on. And it's like, hey, Snoop loves that new shit you just did. Because I've been mixing some old stuff. In fact, I got some bangers, dude, that are like some West Coast shit that Rio did. That I mean, I made some bangers. Anyway, those are almost completely done. In fact, one's just straight up done. I just need to export it and send it out, ready for verses and everything. Next thing you know, Snoop hits me up, or not me, but he hits Rio up, and Rio hits me up and says, "Yo, man, Snoop loves the new shit. Like, fucking, how many more songs can you get done? He wants a couple more options because he may put something on his album and then rap on it." And I'm like, how the fuck? Like, if that domino falls, that knocks over all the rest of the dominoes I've been setting up. My funnels, my beats websites, my podcast, all my other shit, my merch and all that stuff. Because once he hits and it goes on a Snoop album, because I have never made a Snoop Dogg album, but I made Dog Pound albums. Where you can see Snoop playing the song I clearly worked on and have many videos of doing, being on tour bus with Rage and the fucking Marleys. Like, Jesus, man, you know, it's so wild to think about. Like, I wish I would have fucking enjoyed that time instead of thinking, when am I getting rich? And didn't get to enjoy it. But the bottom line is, next thing you know, that domino I set up 10 years ago, which it would literally be 10 years ago now, falls for me. And it's like Snoop's wants these couple of joints and he wants to have a couple more. And I'm like, man, and I'm like, that's an old domino. I set that shit up 10 years ago. These songs are literally 10 years ago. When you go on the computer and look at the file dates and shit, last opened 2004. You're going, holy shit, you know, like this old ass dates, and you're kind of going, man, time fucking flies, right? Again, my kid's like in 4th grade now. I'm like, holy fuck, you know, like time is flying. But But those dominoes that you don't realize you set up and they click, but yet I'm setting up merch sites, beat websites, all the shit. You fucking guarantee your ass. Snoop Dogg jumps on my new song I did with his uncles, very West Coast, and Snoop gets on it and becomes a hit. I bet your ass I sell every beat off my site exclusively, and I make fucking a couple 100,000. I fucking sell every funnel times 1,000,000. You know, I sell everything. People start joining this frequency control show. You know, anything I put out is now fucking gold. You know what I mean? It's like the chicken Roberto's eating. So it's gonna be gold. So the bottom line is that's what's up. Is everything I had touched, every domino knocks over, merch gold, everything gold. Your funnels, your beats, your websites, your hell, my rap albums, Roberto's music, everything pops off because of now he locks in. So what? AWACS? Oh, S&D Beats produced that Snoop Dogg song. Oh, who's this AWACS guy produced by S&D? And then they end up eating up all that reggaeton shit too. You know what I mean? And then AWACS blows the fuck up. You know what I mean? And he didn't. And in Roberto's angle, the reggaeton artist I'm talking about, the singer of the artist that I'm talking about, domino he set up as far as singing over some beats and stuff and making his songs gets knocked over by his producer getting a song with Snoop Dogg, and it makes him famous. And he didn't even have anything to do with that domino. But because he set a domino up with me, one of my dominoes can knock over his domino that helps his dream go through the roof. You know what I mean? How crazy is that? If you think about it, I pop with Snoop, which I've done it with the Dog Pound, but I pop with Snoop and say like he gets an actual hit out of it. Yet to do the hit part. But say it turns in and pops off of the hit. The song it's called "Stop" from the Vernado Brothers. That hits. Next thing you know, not only does the Vernado Brothers domino knock over, Roberto's domino knocks over for the AWACS project, and of course mine. And next thing you know, these guys like, oh, who's this S&D? Oh, I'm gonna listen to this guy. I'm gonna listen to these Vernado Brothers. I got 20 tracks with these guys, 20 tracks with this other guy. And next thing you know, they go through the roof. You just don't know. We just got to get one to pop. And so all of a sudden I get called like, yo, your domino's about to knock over. Snoop Dogg wants your shit. That domino's going to knock over the Vernado Brothers domino, my dominoes, and anything I set up in my favor. And AWACS's domino, because he's produced by me. And if AWACS has set up a merch company and some other shit, all his dominoes could start knocking over too. It's that crazy. It's that crazy. You know what I mean? And say we put out Way Too Loaded with Kyle, me, or City Lights rather, at Green Thumb Beats and Willie Stride and all that shit, and say that song was out on you released it on DistroKid. Next thing you know, that domino would pop for you and Kyle, and he'd be like, oh shit, I'm driving this FedEx truck, but now I'm like, damn man, people think I'm the dopest rapper because he is. And next thing you know, it's like fucking, you just don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I could be on stage right now playing with a famous fucking band, Korn. You know what I mean? Like, literally, like, if you think about it, like right now, as much as I practice building that domino, my hands and arms hurt from playing guitar all the time. Like just, that's fucking how often, right? Building that domino that I did, that was more of a domino that my thing is like, I'd love to be a 50-year-old guy, highly skilled on guitar, be able to just rip. And that's all the further I want to go with it. But bet your fucking ass I get to be on stage with some bands jamming. I'm ready to fill that fucking void all day. You know what I mean? Just I'm playing guitar. Fuck. So the bottom line is, man, you do have to know your be very fucking aware of your path so you can see those things like, ooh, this is it. And that'll help you make the yes decision. So if Jonathan Davis asked me, hey, can you play guitar in this fucking band for 2 shows, right? It'd be a total of 2 shows, not anything massive. They won't even name your name, so fuck it, may never knock your domino over. But the bottom line is, you're on stage, you're jamming, and then next thing you know, they know who you are. Somehow you get to talk about what you do, or maybe he knows 15 people for me because he's in the industry for 20 some odd years. And then that domino pops, and you just don't know. But I would know to say yes to that opportunity, knowing that I have set all these other dominoes up, and saying no to that would maybe not knocking it. This may be the thing that knocks these dominoes over. So you have to know your journey. You have to know your path. You have to know what you're going for, so you'll know whether to say yes or no. In the past, I've had Will tell me about new ventures he's on, and I know Will's path. I mean, sure, I don't know it as much as him. I'm not trying to be so bold as to say I know you more than you know yourself, but I know his path and have paid attention enough to where as soon as he says he's doing something that deviates from that path, and I'm bold enough as his friend of so many years that I don't care if he hates me when I say things to him. But if they're true and they will add value to what his path is about, I'll say it. I don't give a fuck. To where I don't have any friends because of that. But the bottom line is, nobody likes me. But the bottom line is, yo, that's fucking dumb. That has zero to do with what the fuck you're doing, because I know his path. I know at least as much as he shares with me. And I'm like, that doesn't align at all. You're gonna be a salesman, like, or what the fuck? You're making the money, but bro, you're trying to enjoy life too. You're a creative. You know what I mean? You're a creative. You know, you can do things that Roberto and I cannot do. That's a knee slapper. No, I'm just joking. So that's from 3rd grade. But no, but you know,
that's hilarious.
I have never found something I can't fucking do. So fuck that. So anyway, but for real, like, I know his path. He knows his path, and so like knowing that
when you're on it too, like, you can see like the things I can see for me, all this stuff lining up, you know, and I feel like, because I think it's going to happen. I'm going to end up eventually here, mark my words, probably doing a documentary. And
which would be dope. Nothing's doper than a documentary. I'm currently listening to Steve Jobs' documentary, and there's so many things that would look like failures in it that it makes it so much more fucking you want to listen to it. You're like, fuck, man, I resonate with that, because you like, our documentary would be like, literally like, fuck, that's a fail. After Snoop Dogg, they didn't do shit. After hanging out with Robert at his house for 2 years, Will leaves saying, fuck music, I'm quitting, this sucks. And you know, when they were just fucking with Snoop, and then you know, you're thinking, oh, so that ends, right? No, it doesn't. It keeps going. It's the same thing with like Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. It's like, they do it, they separate, they go to like communes. Even like Steve Jobs joined cults at one point, like when he was younger, like didn't shower or shave or do any or deodorant, like he's super stinky guy and shit. They like almost didn't get jobs because he was so stinky. To be the guy that owns Apple and all their computers you buy, like, you're like, no way. But that's so fucking inspiring to hear their story. So I think doing a documentary, fuck, that'd be hella powerful, especially considering we're all fucking reaching 50 years old. Like, you know, it's like, you know, like, how long that's a fail for a lot of 26-year-olds, or like they want it by 27. You know, they couldn't fathom like living to longer than, at 50, yeah, I could live till 90, and that's 40 years of being rich as fuck. Like, that's okay with me, rich as fuck for 40 years. Damn, bro, that's the shit. That's half your life.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know what kind of documentary, but I'm just seeing like, you know, everything lining up and what I'm, I want to get into like more heavier writing and movies and film and stuff like that, and I think a documentary be a good way. Maybe it will be a documentary on us. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like I could see,
I just
like
jumped the gun and was like, thought it was about you.
what's that?
I jumped the gun and just thought it was about us. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, that'd be
oh,
great, man. You're like, no, I
well,
just mean a documentary.
documentary in general. Like I already passed one. I didn't pass one up, but I had a possible opportunity of doing a Christian documentary, and then of course these people never hit me up again. So, but I'm just like, the kind of opportunities are kind of coming, like that, and I feel like it's something that could happen, but I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know that that's something that could happen if I haven't really paid attention to my path and be on this path and be open to see what I'm creating on these path and people, events, and circumstances that are showing up along this path as I continue to do the right things consistently and long enough to create these things showing up along my path. I wouldn't have the vision to be able to see the future on what could happen, and kind of just it all kind of helps with just for myself just to keep going, to keep moving, to keep moving forward, because I'm trying to track the situation where somebody comes to me with a documentary. Oh, you do videos? Yeah, I do. I want to do a documentary. Oh, do you now? Right. Of course you do. That's why I'm sitting here right now. Because you're gonna tell me, you know what I mean? That's the moment. That is the moment when, I actually go outside. Here, I'm gonna wait till you get, that's the moment that I finally go outside. I go somewhere. I start a conversation up with somebody. Oh, wait, you do videos too? Well, check it out. I have a documentary idea. Like, of course you do. That's why I'm sitting here right now, right? Because this is along my path. And I don't tell people that because they're like, huh? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, this is already done. What are you talking about? I lie. I do say it. And I always get good responses. You know what I mean? I've never had anybody be like, what? That's yeah, but then that doesn't mean they show up and finish. But it's like I can see that happening, man, and I wouldn't know that unless I was aware of my path and doing these right things. Like I said, that was my thing. Is just telling people how important it is to be open to this information, to change your thinking, dig out those negative neurological pathways, start replacing them with positive ones, and raise your vibration to be able to just be more aware, to just be more open, be more woke up, and not such a robot and a slave to everything, and be open to what's going on in your life and creating the things you want. But my thing on this topic was, well, the whole dominoes thing, but this is how important this information is. This is what I like to talk. This is how, for you watching, this is how important this information is to be aware of, so you can be more aware of what's going on in your own life and be able to see, wait, you're right. I started something a long time ago that is benefiting me right now. I didn't even realize. And you start building on those dominoes you laid, and you just want to keep laying dominoes because you know eventually one of those is going to start tipping over, and man, it's going to create a beautiful picture of what your future looks like, which should look like what you want. That's all I really got on this one, man. I got some audios coming, man, for this daily takeoff checklist. I still got some work to do on creating some more videos. It's gonna be really beneficial when you guys hear this this breakdown version, um, where I kind of go more in depth on why I put the sections in there. And then just the audio version so you'd be able to listen to this and not have to walk around like I did with a piece of paper, you know, reading it to myself, which I mean, it worked for me, but it's so much easier for you to soak this information in when you can just listen to it. So it's coming. It's done. I just got to do a couple more videos and then put it on the site so you can check it out. And that's all I have.
All right, guys. So I think we kind of hit on all that stuff. So realistically, is just be aware of your journey. Understand that a lot of the stuff that you feel are L's, losses for anybody who's not very hip. Basically, they could be things that are set up for something in the future. Think about with me with the guitar thing. It's not something I ever cared to do. I don't want to be a guitarist in a big famous band. I don't give a shit. That's not my angle. However, that would be awesome. You know, like nothing's better than shredding out there and doing it. But you don't know what those dominoes are. You don't know what those things are set up to be that chain reaction. And when I say dominoes, I mean the chain reaction of all the things you set up and everything benefiting that you've done from one thing popping and working.
See, now he mentions this guitar, right? And not knowing, and then you know what this is what's cool about having like vision is, you know, as soon as he says that, you know what I see? I see him playing guitar at our seminars with thousands of people while we're talking about this information and spreading it further, and actually having seminars where people can benefit from the collective people and different minds spreading positive energy, and could possibly be playing the guitar at a, you never know what kind of guests we might have on that you might jam with. You know, these are the type of things I see as soon as he says something like that, like, oh, I'm totally making it up, but this is not making it up. Like, these are visions I have. Just right now, when he's talking about it, this is what I'm seeing. Him playing guitar at our seminars. Maybe a guest comes in who's a surprise guest he doesn't know about, shows up and he jams out with, you never know, man. Like, this is why it's so fun, man, to know this information and be able to just, be able to have vision to see, to see what could happen. You know, that's totally lined up with our path. It's not even that crazy to happen. So, man, your mindset is so important, along with, of course, taking your actions. But oh my gosh, get open to this information so you can see the path you're on, see the things you've done that led you down this path, and be able to see what the path can look like in the future, which keeps you driving towards it.
All right, guys. So if you want to support us, it's going to help more people see it. Please click the like button. Hit the notification bell if you want to be aware of when we're coming out with the next stuff. And then if you thought this was valuable to you enough to where you want to see more of it, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. That'll be super helpful to us. And if you want to see anything specifically spoken about, or maybe you wrote the book, read the book, The Secret, or read some sort of law of attraction book, maybe a Napoleon Hill book, whatever, and you had questions about something that was in the book that you didn't quite understand, I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty well versed in it. I know Will for sure is. And funny enough, my wife and I were talking about it last night. She said, "It's Will now." I'm like, man, he's like highly skilled and can articulate this stuff very well. Uh, and my wife knows. I'll talk shit about somebody all day, and it's a flaw of mine. So she knows when I'm talking good about somebody and telling you how great they are at speaking on something or articulating themselves and doing it, that's got to be just like this person's got to really know what the hell they're talking about before I'll vouch for what they're talking about and be like, dude, this person, it could be on a stage, break it down, and believe so passionately that you're gonna understand. That's why your daily checkoff sheets and these things and these tools that are coming that Will is releasing soon. In fact, daily checkoff sheet will be in the link in the description. But the additional things that are coming out are going to be so valuable. But nevertheless, it's if you feel this is added value, subscribe and keep getting more value. But please comment and let us know what you want to hear about. You have any questions on any of these positivity books? I'm 120 books in right now, or 120 books in rather, on positivity books that I'm listening over and over again. Got like every Audible badge and all these little bullshit things they give you, but this stuff's kind of like repeats itself over and over. There's only so much consciousness you can have that are so many angles that books can't cover a new angle, right? So it's just a new take on that same angle. So pretty well versed in that. So comment, please comment, and let us know.